Goldman Sachs thinks that will grow to a shortage of 2 million workers.
Imagine I could give you a labor force that costs the price of electricity, a few cents an hour per worker. And they were equipped with the kinds of general intelligence that you might imagine comes from, like, in science fiction. There's going to be things that you think of that will dramatically improve your life, no matter who you are.
We've only automated 10% of automotive manufacturing. If we can automate a much higher degree, it would dramatically change the economy.
We have the ability to add new tools. You can imagine if you needed to put a rivet into a car or something, you could actually have the screw produced in the hand.
But robots taking human jobs can be a contentious topic. What would you tell those people who, there are certain jobs that might be lost as a result of this?
Actually, we've heard from some of those people, and what their jobs start to evolve into is the manager of the robot fleet.
They can be deployed in coal mines, in fires, or rescue efforts, where it might not be as safe for a human being.
There are just some jobs that people don't want. Proponents say a humanoid can help fill those.
There's about 10 million open jobs in the United States alone. We could build and maintain 10 million of the robots that we're talking about without touching a single job.
If you have to lift sort of 55 pounds somewhere between 50 and 100 times an hour, that's a serious workout. So we're taking these dirty, dull, and dangerous jobs first.
Silicon Valley making a big bet on AI-powered humanoid robots to help solve the global labor shortage. Our Kate Rooney has that story this morning. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Carl. Yeah, so these humanoid robots, they're built to really resemble people, to resemble humans, and they're getting smarter thanks to artificial intelligence. Robots, like the ones you're about to see, are catching the attention and billions of dollars in investments from the likes of Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla, and Microsoft. Recent leaps in generative AI have accelerated what these robots are capable of. It's made them increasingly capable of understanding commands, for example, and then making their own decisions about how to act. It uses the same technology behind AI-powered chatbots.
Robotics is where AI meets with reality. And that makes for some very interesting new combinations that I think even 5 years ago we could not imagine.
Justification for spending on these robots. Startups and tech companies point to this job shortage that by 2030, Goldman Sachs estimates is going to grow to about 2 million workers. Tech companies argue these robots that you're seeing, that they'll fill the jobs that are too dangerous or that people just don't want to do.
I believe we are really at the cusp of solving one of the grand challenges of humanity when we introduce robots now into the workplace. That'll be the start of it. It'll change labor forever. In the next 5 years, in the fields that I spoke about, retail, third-party logistics, warehousing, starting into healthcare. But more broadly, eventually, we'll see robots in our houses doing tasks and things that none of us like to do.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And those who've been with me from the beginning know I told you about all the technology they have behind the curtain. And now it's finally coming out. But guys, we know there's moves and phases. And we have Jordy Rose telling us a long time ago. Those videos are old. Talking about AI, the supercomputers, NASA, Google coming together. Now you get to see all this technology for your own eyes. Now we have the mainstream media pushing the robot narrative. We have a labor crisis. Yes, you heard that correct. Aging population. The workers don't want these type of jobs. We need machines to take it over. And with television and all these movies, they definitely been programming the minds. And yes, robots are going to take human jobs, but the humans will be in charge of the robots. That's the narrative that they want to sell you. But we know the plan is for all this technology to take over. The robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy without a human involved. And Elon laid out the self-driving cars as an example, because guys, they'll be able to pay their own insurance because now they have money, and that's Bitcoin and crypto. And now, of course, they can pump their own gas. And with GPS, they know the streets better than you know them. And we have the United Nations going to be rolling out policy for robot safety. But remember, guys, eventually these robots are going to have more rights than you. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Take the box with the heaviest animal and move it to Tower 4. This is Digit, a robot who sort of looks like a person, hence the name humanoid robot. Technically, these are called bipedal humanoid robots. Using semantic intelligence, it's able to interpret commands from people and then make its own decisions about how to act. So the goal is for him to be able to interpret normal human language, to say, hey, I need you to pick this box up, help me out in this instance. Is that where you see this going?
Yeah, and I think it will generally be probably less of a, I need you to do this one thing for me, and more of a, do this for me forever in the corner of the facility.
Robots like this one are catching the attention and billions of investment dollars from big tech companies like Amazon, Google, Nvidia, and Microsoft. Elon Musk is betting the future of Tesla on these machines.
As you see Optimus develop, it's really going to transform the world, I think, to a degree even greater than the cars.
Some also argue robots like Digit can solve the world's labor crisis, filling jobs that are too dangerous or that people simply don't want. They may even replace an aging workforce as people around the world have fewer kids.
Today in manufacturing, we're short about 300,000 people, and it's something very similar in warehousing and logistics. So we're somewhere around 600,000-700,000 jobs we can't fill.
The idea of robots isn't exactly new. However, artificial intelligence. These bots have seen quantum leaps in what they're capable of in just the past few years, thanks to AI.
Generative AI is really a key unlock overall for what you can get a robot to do, let alone a humanoid robot.
Robotics is where AI meets with reality.
We are really at the cusp of solving one of the grand challenges of humanity that'll change labor forever.
There's probably a need in the future once the humanoids get a bit more clever, a bit more perhaps autonomy, but until that point, I think the market will be fairly limited to PR spectacles.
It all sounds great, but will we ever trust robots working in our houses, schools, and nursing homes? Will they ever be safe enough? And how lifelike is too lifelike? And how should the US think about global adversaries building similar fleets of humanoids? CNBC explores the rise of these AI-driven humanoids and if they're really a cure-all for our global workforce problems or if this is another tech bubble.
When robots are interfacing with humans.
The biggest sort of short-term obstacle we have is safety. The UN has sort of put together a committee that's called AI for Good, which is basically coming up with policy recommendations at a UN level for how should countries think about AI and also think about robotics.
I mean, there are times when Bitcoin can actually be an indicator of what to expect in the NASDAQ or just the risk-on trade.
Yeah. Correlations have been pretty high, too, recently with the NASDAQ 100 and Bitcoin. And then you start to think about them all as these risk assets, right, more broadly. But, of course, the NASDAQ just keeps going and going and going, and Bitcoin has broken some support. So the 60,000 level is what we were watching. And it's not a major support level, but it resolves a trading range to the downside that suggests that we'll see more corrective price action. Next support for Bitcoin is roughly 51,500. So still some downside from here, but still within a long-term uptrend. We're big believers of just having a small percentage of a portfolio in Bitcoin, almost regardless of the price action. We still want the long-term trend on our side, but almost as a call option to take advantage of the upside long-term.
You think going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, So therefore, we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the fourth industrial revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.